Just be out with us
to Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. It is an incredible city and the culture here is pretty shocking. Hanoi is like no other cities, and in this video we will share with you our personal first impressions of Hanoi city. Thank you. Hanoi is very unique. I am on a sidewalk, but here sidewalks are so narrow. They are often used to park motorbikes. A lot of vendors put their little tables right on the street. So a lot of times you actually have to go directly on the street instead of walking on the sidewalk. It is so incredibly hot here in Hanoi. We are visiting at the end of July, but this is my second time in Hanoi, and believe it or not, the first time I was visiting around January and it was cold. I had a sweater on, I had a light jacket on, and it was really cold. And you might think, okay, all Asia is all super hot, but not the northern part of Vietnam, and also the northern part of Thailand gets also pretty chilly.
Another thing we noticed while here in Hanoi is that the streets are named after what's being sold on the street. So for example, you see on the left and on the right, there are locks and all different types of like padlocks and hinges. So this street could possibly be named either Lock Street or Padlock Street or something like that. There are other streets that just have toys and balloons and party favors. Other ones have just different things that they sell throughout the whole entire street, and that would be the name of the street. Well, specifically, this is, I would say, probably Glasses Street or Eyewear Street, because on this street, it's all glasses, all contact lenses, all shades. I actually bought this from one of the vendors here. So it's really cool. Once you get to a street, you know that everything on that street is specifically to one thing, which is awesome. Look at all these buttons. Wow. Wow. This must be Button Street. And now we're on Shoe Street. As you can see, all the vendors are selling either shoes or sneakers or some type of footwear. Let's talk about the honking here in Hanoi. It is insane. We had to try to find one of these little side streets where it's a little quiet, because as we're shooting this video, so many times we had to stop in the middle of our sentence because there's honking going on everywhere. The motorbikes are honking, cars are honking, buses are honking, people are even honking. Crazy. While here in Hanoi, you will notice a lot of places like this, coffee shops. They are all over, and they give you kind of like a coffee experience because some of the coffees is mixed with different things, but it's definitely a must try. And if you love coffee, you're definitely gonna love Hanoi.
Hello. So this is really from the lotus flower?
Lotus root.
The root.
Flower.
Root?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, my first time trying lotus root.
It's a dry. In the fresh one, in Vietnam, I cook with soup.
You make it with soup?
Yes.
Tastes like root.
Tastes like root?
In Vietnam, I cook the lotus root.
Maybe like mushroom.
Yeah.
We just came across this coffee shop because it smelled so good. Look how narrow it is. I don't even need to extend my arms fully. So we met the owner of the shop. His father grows coffee, this coffee from his father's farm on the south part of Vietnam, and he grows coffee every day. And the only reason we came here because the coffee smells so good. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
Now let's talk about what is there to do here in Hanoi. Well, there's not that much to do here. Basically, the best thing to do is when you do come to Hanoi, people, most of the tourists, they use it as a springboard to get to other places and other attractions, tourist style. So you would see a lot of places like this in Hanoi called booking offices. And you would stroll in and there you'll be able to do day trips to different islands. You could do rice fields, you can do cruises that are sometimes either a day, 2 days, 3 days, even 4-day cruises. And it'll take you around to different places. So just know that when you see this, this is probably where you're going to end up.
We notice here in Hanoi there are a lot of shopping, and some of them are really extra, like very fancy clothes with interesting styles, and they are always empty, but we notice that there are a lot of them that sell all different styles of clothes, from very basic and traditional to something extra and even a lot of knockoffs.
And now the question that's probably one of the most important is Hanoi safe? Well, for us walking around, we walked around in the evening time, in the nighttime, in the mornings while we were here, and it seemed safe. But not only that, the hotels we stayed in, the Airbnb host, booking agents for tours, we've gone in there and we all asked the questions. Even people who speak English, vendors that speak English, we asked them, is it relatively safe? Because we don't want to just get it from our perspective. And 100% said, yes, it's safe. So to answer the question, is Hanoi safe? Yes, by local standards. Now, let's talk about different ways to get around. One of them, just past me. This is how you can get around. No, thank you. So that's one of the ways you can just jump onto one of those. As a matter of fact, there's 2 people in that one over there. So you could get on one of those and get to the destination where you want to get to. You could use Grab, which is really cool, or maybe rent a moped or rent a vehicle. I wouldn't really suggest that because the traffic here is madness, especially if you're not really comfortable in a scooter, and in a car it will take a while for one of these things to get around, or everywhere else is walking. But just keep in mind, if you are walking around, you will be walking mostly on the street with the traffic and not on the sidewalks, because the sidewalks are kind of for mopeds. All the mopeds are parked on the sidewalk, so you cannot walk on the sidewalk. Just know that. When it comes to mopeds and cars driving, red light, green light, it doesn't matter. Even if you might think you have the right of way, keep your eyes open when crossing the street, because mopeds blow right through the red light. So something to keep a watch out for. You can find anything on the streets here, including haircut. If I didn't have my hair, if my hair was longer, I definitely would come here. It's $4 US dollars to get a haircut right here on the sidewalk. Guys, ready? He has all his clippers. Then maybe you want some flowers. Well, if you want some flowers, then what do? You just cross the street and there you have it. Flowers right at your doorstep. That's the way they do it here in Hanoi.
Hello.
Okay, for those of you who are vegan or vegetarian, since we've been here and we've been walking around pacing the streets, we've seen several places that do offer a vegetarian or vegan option. So there's a little bit of something for you too here as well. Crossing the streets here in Hanoi can be a little nerve-wracking. Cars come from every direction. As you can see, look at Irina's face. She's totally stressed, and I normally have to hold her hands because this is the way they communicate. Look at this. Everyone just pushes their way through, and you have to almost do the same. So here we go, crossing the street. And cars come from every direction, including scooters as well. So be careful when crossing the street.
We are now in a Grab taxi. Grab is an app-based taxi service equivalent to Uber in the United States. And when we were moving from our hotel to our Airbnb, I called a Grab and I didn't really look at the difference, and it just said just Grab. Just Grab is the most basic car you're going to get, and sometimes it is really small. So the car that came to pick us up was a little smart car, and we weren't even sure whether it would fit all our luggage in or not. And then I looked into other options and I noticed that they have also luxury car options in Grab, and the difference in price is only 25 cents US. And if you are in the United States and if you want a more comfortable and larger car, sometimes the price difference is about $20 US. Here it's only 25 cents.
So to sit outside here on the streets and have a meal, or in our case, like even dessert, it's a part of what happens here in Vietnam. A lot of places you will go to, they're either in a dark alley where you get to the destination because Google Maps sent you there or someone sent you there, and you're looking around and you're expecting a storefront, especially coming from the West. That's our standard, right? You walk into a storefront. Not really, not here in Vietnam. Sometimes it's in an alley and you have to go all the way to the back of the alley, go through a couple buildings, go up a couple stairs, and then you get to where you need to be. So things are not always what they seem. But actually sitting here and eating, this is technically illegal. So the way it stands is that there's not enough space for many of these storefronts and many of these people who cook meals. So they just have enough space just for a burner, for a kitchen to prepare your meal. And then they have these tiny little chairs that are put on the outside so you can eat the meal. Now you might wonder, well, why do they use these little tiny 5-year-old stools? Look like they got it from the kindergarten. Well, it makes it easier so when the police comes or the authority comes by, they can grab, stack them all together and twist them inside and like nothing happened. So it's very rarely that happens. They do understand, and it's kind of like a give and take because the police know that this is the way they make their living, so there's really no harassment. But sometimes if they do need to pull everything away, it's much easier to move these plastic things as opposed to big heavy tables, which they would not be able to move, and they would probably get a fine. Many times when you do come to eat in these places, it's the owners of the buildings, and these buildings have been passed down from generation to generation to generation. You would not believe how many generations has been passed down through these buildings. So it's very unique in a lot of ways, and it just takes a little bit of getting used to that a lot of your meals is not going to be in a beautiful brick and mortar store, very well lit. A lot of it is dimly lit. The pot is right outside. They're cooking right here. So it's a little shocking in the beginning, but believe that most of the food that we've had at least has been really good.
It is really cool that Hanoi City has so many lakes and ponds right inside the city. We are in the old town right in the center, and look at this beautiful and peaceful lake right in the middle. And it's really cool because a lot of locals just come to relax. There is a lot of trees planted around the lakes. There is a nice path for you to jog around or walk. And we notice a lot of older people also like to come to the lake to work out, do little mobility exercises. This lake has a significance. It actually comes with a story. The tale says that a warrior came to rest to this lake, and while he was resting, a golden turtle appeared from this lake, took his sword and took it down to the bottom of the lake. And this lake is known to have so many different turtles. Right behind me, you see a red bridge leading to an island right in the middle of the lake. And inside there is a museum. They have a preserved gigantic turtle. You can go inside for a very small fee, or just walk around and relax and enjoy the views around the lake. Hello.
This one is actually a dinosaur. All you smell is plastic. This is like Slipper Street here. All the vendors that sell slippers.
You like this
slides.
Yeah. You have big size? Big size for big foot?
So I'm looking to buy new slippers. Ooh, these feel comfortable.
How much?
Oh.
200. 200?
Wow, so these are my old ones, the red ones. I've been having these since Maldives. So I think it's time to... Oh yeah, actually since Mexico, you're right. But these feel really comfortable. How much are they?
200.
200?
Which is $8.
$8. Okay, I think it feels really nice though.
150, okay?
Irina's trying to bargain. She said 150. Calculator. I like it. I like when the calculator comes out.
Felicito. Okay.
170. There we go. My new slides. Yay. They're really comfortable though. So we popped into the shop really quickly because Irina saw something in the window. It's like this silk pullover stuff. We've been looking for silk. Ooh, it's pretty.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
And this is 100% silk. It's about $20. We noticed there are a lot of places here in Hanoi that sell flowers, and I love flowers so much. And if we had a better place where we could stay and put the flowers in a vase, my husband would definitely get it for me. but you can find them everywhere in Hanoi. So cool.
We found this tiny little alley with kids running around, and look at this. Beautiful lanterns are hung throughout the entire alley. Look at that. Isn't that so cool? And there are a few restaurants here. Wow, little gems.
We notice on the streets of Hanoi, a lot of food vendors do not wear gloves when preparing food. And we watched them long enough to see that they do take money with the same hands as they prepare the food. If you're visiting Hanoi on the weekend, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, be sure to stop by at Hanoi's Night Market, located right in the center of Hanoi.
Yes, here it is really nice. You get really great bargains for really good stuff. The quality of most of the stuff here looks really good. We've touched them, we've felt them, and it feels really good. The quality is good, prices are great. You can get food here, and you get both men and women and everything else in between.
Yeah, you can find kids apparel, kids toys.
This street market is massive. It goes on for blocks and blocks. It goes in multiple directions, north, south, east, and west. When you think you're at the end, no, you're pretty much at the beginning.
Wow, Hanoi nightlife is so much fun.
Yes, it's crazy. Now we're on Bear Street, and it's just slammed with people. The alleyways are so small, plus there's chairs and tables on the sidewalk, on the streets. So it makes it even narrower to walk by everyone. It's crazy, it's packed, slammed. People eating and drinking.
Cheers!
Cheers!